Rumors of our passing are greatly exaggerated. Welcome to the show. Good to have you guys with us. A Degenerate Friday. This is how we start our week, and this is also how we're going to end this week. But should be a lot of fun today. We have the professor standing by around 8:30, 8:35. We'll get to the professor and a big board. We have Lubie's Training Camp Chronicles, which very interesting yesterday. I don't know if you were out there in the heat of Miami Dolphins practice.
No.
At their Baptist Health facility, which I have yet to visit. Have you been to this new facility?
No, not the one that's by the actual stadium. No, I have not actually. It's been a few years they've had it.
Yeah, you kind of froze up on me there a little bit and got a little weird, but hopefully you're coming through okay. We're going to have Tony Segreto joining us in just a few minutes also. Tony's going to do a little old school, usually on Wednesday, but Lubie was in Puerto Rico most of the week due to circumstances that were a bit unusual yesterday. I had to blow off yesterday's show. So good to be back with you. And if you're sticking with us, give us a shout on the chat line there. Let me know that you guys are out there and that you're still alive. But we'll have old school with Tony Segreto. And that's brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Ed Garcia, parts unknown lately, huh?
Yeah.
He's like that masked wrestler out of the Midwest. And originating from parts unknown. Haven't been able to find this guy, but you say he's on a chicken farm, and he must be getting a little bit antsy thinking about the upcoming college football season, which also looms right around the corner. Many, many things happening and transpiring over the last week. First off, Lubie, though, how was your trip to Puerto Rico? What did you get to do? What kind of food did you have? It looked like you were having a good time. And I think the people, the person that had the best time had to be one Luca Panici, Lubie. Well, the guy looks like a grown man already. He's not even a year old. It's amazing. He's zooming in on a year, right? November?
October, early October, yeah.
October, okay. So, wow, that's also right around the corner, as is the upcoming NFL season. September 13th is the debut of the Sunday football. Do they have any games before that? They usually play like a Thursday nighter to open up the season. I'm not sure. I would imagine it features some marquee teams or some kind of favorable matchup for the fans. I don't think they're going to give you two low-level teams to start out the season, one of which would be
Sunday night.
Miami Dolphins. But give us the city on Puerto Rico
Wednesday, first. Before we get to that, Wednesday 9-9, they play a game. It's saying Wednesday.
Well, Wednesday they started. Wow.
Yes, Patriots Seahawks play Wednesday 9-9, and then Thursday they have Niners and Rams. The two Super Bowl rematch and the
marquee game,
matchups rematch. Yes,
very nice. Any chance, in your opinion, that either of those two Super Bowl appearing teams from last year? I don't expect the Patriots to make it back there.
Their schedule's rough, and again, they caught a lot of people off guard with a young team that was upstart. The Seahawks are interesting. It's just I think the Rams have gone really all in a way that I don't know if the Seahawks can keep up. Like the Rams have really put together a very talented roster, and they were very close last year.
What about the dynamic? I haven't heard much about it. We have seen some shots and evidence that Mike McDaniel still exists. I don't know what level of influence he'll have. I mean, is Jim Harbaugh the type to delegate offensive authority completely to his offensive coordinator? This is an offensive background guy. He was a quarterback, of course, and prominent quarterback in college football and somewhat in the pros as well. I don't know that he was any Hall of Famer, but it wasn't as if he was a complete slouch. But, oh, wow. Andy weighing in. Always good to hear from Andy. And there was an unfortunate thing that took place yesterday. Very sad.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are you serious?
Had to put the skipster down. That was not an easy day for me. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I wasn't going to, say anything on it on the Facebook page, but I had posted many pictures over the years of Skippy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that at all.
Well, I mean, he lasted. He might have been 17 years old, this dog. So.
He was a champion, that dog.
Wow, what a survivor. He was the Vito Antifermo of dogs.
Yes.
I mean, he could. They didn't even have cut men in the corner for Vito Antifermo. They had plastic surgeons there.
Oh, my God.
This dog survived virtually everything, including a very rough beginning to his life. I don't know all the details of it, obviously, because when we adopted him, it was a dog that seriously had some problems. Mm-hmm. Although, did they juice these dogs with sedatives when you're...
Yes. It's so funny.
Oh, my God.
They're never the same. Our cat, Wolf was Wolf, but our cat was the sweetest, most caring, affectionate thing. She sat in Shirley's lap for 30 minutes when we adopted her. She's never done that since.
Right. I mean, Skip was a wild man to the point where even the ex wanted to give him back, and it was her idea to get the dog.
And,
She had just lost a dog that she was very, well, who isn't close with their dog? Most people are.
and
And she was devastated by that. And I thought, well, geez, I'm never going to have another pet again. I had had 3 cats prior to that, and they had all perished. So I had had enough of pets dying and
sad, yeah.
having to worry about them constantly and always having to adjust your schedule or whatever to accommodate a dog, especially if you're living alone, which I essentially am doing now. And I'm always having to think, oh, geez, I got to get home. People don't believe you when you say that, Libby. It sounds like an excuse, right?
They give you
You
so
leave at
much.
a happy hour and you say, hey, I got to go. I got to take care of the dog. Yeah, sure. Have another drink. What's wrong with you?
People always do that. And I'm like, no, it's a living thing.
Yeah, just leave it there.
People are really weird about it. I'm like, so you don't have an animal, huh? I'm like, because it's a
All
thing.
right. So tell me, what did you enjoy about Rico while you're there? I've been there a few times. I was there to call a couple of basketball tournaments when they had the Battle of Bayamon or whatever they call that. And I had been there on vacation a couple of times. What was your thought about the whole experience, Libby?
It was great. Look, I've been there before. We started in San Juan, old San Juan, as you know. It's cool. It's right out of Europe. It feels like old school Spain. The food's good. The people are good. Renting a car sucks though. I've never done it with a car. It's not.
Well, you're driving there too, right?
Yeah, we rented a car and trying to park there, and we were staying inside Old San Juan, which is wonderful, it's picturesque, but it's a pain in the ass to park. And we have a baby, our friends had a baby, so you can't find parking within like 5 to 10 minutes of where you are, and then it's a 3-story walk up without elevator.
Yeah, schwitzy too, I would imagine.
And so it's fun. So it's a beautiful place. The food's good, but yes, I would go there and not rent a car till like you're leaving, because we were going to across Puerto Rico to a place called Isabela, which is like a small beach town.
Okay.
To finish off the trip for our godson's 1-year birthday. They were doing like a little party because our friends' families from there. So it was cool. I love Puerto Rico. Look, I like the islands. Like I love that terrain of beach, mountain. Like Shirley makes fun of me, but I think it's the coolest thing to be in the beach and then see mountains. Like it's just cool. It's just different.
Yeah.
We don't have that here, you know. And the water's cold for I don't know why, but our water here is warm by this time. The water was night. We were at beach and the water was cool.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And there's no sargassum. The seaweed that we've had to deal with for months, they didn't have it at all. The water's clear blue. I'm like, I haven't seen the water here like that in months. Like it was really cool. And it's a great place to be. And people are happier. There's a vibe, as people say. So yeah, I really like the islands, man. It's a different life when you're out over there.
Always enjoyed my time over there. It was always a lot of fun. A little bit different, no doubt about it. Did you do the rainforest thing?
It was the first time I've ever done El Yunque. We actually did do it. We went deep into it.
Did you go into that little pool where I mean you're like about halfway up, and then there's a pool and everybody's swimming in there? It's freezing water there.
Yes. Oh, good for you. You did that. Yeah, that was great. See, I love that. I'm weird. I like rivers.
On a twisting mountain road, and then there's a little food stand, and you're starving. And you end up going there, and I don't know that the offerings are necessarily anything that you would consider to be indicative of the local cuisine.
No.
But yeah, I mean, you go up there, you get a banana and Coca-Cola, and it's that's probably the only thing that's available there. But no, good time. I'm glad you had a good time, Libby, and we certainly missed you, and I'm glad to have you back here on the sporting scene. All right. Training Camp Chronicles. I'm reading accounts in the New York Post of the Giants tandem practice with the Miami Dolphins. They'll play Saturday.
Oh, that's right. We'll bring on
Hard Rock Stadium. Fights breaking out. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. There he is. You talk about a peacemaker. I mean, this guy should have been out there trying to negotiate a peace. Not quite like Donnie Boy trying to get Iran to come to the table here.
Maybe I could negotiate that too.
Better than Kushner.
Well, it's great. I mean, if you have a country whose military has been obliterated, everything else has been taken out, and yet somehow they're still maintaining a resistance that has this guy scrambling like he was Fran Tarkenton, trying to figure out what the next thing is going to say about
Fran Tarkenton and you name it, you got it.
Might not be the greatest scrambler of all time, though. No, I mean, people of this generation, Lubie's generation.
No. He's not a great scrambler. He's a great magician
Yeah.
because he's saying, watch this hand, and then you don't know what's going on with this hand.
The one who used to run like 40 yards backwards and then do the 360 pivot, and then come back the other way, and then come back the other way, and then finally fire a pass way down. I used to love that man. He was one of my favorites of all time.
Me too. Me. You know what? Thank God for the films, NFL films, because my daughter, who has to, sometimes go into the archives and see these guys, really, it shows their athleticism. It shows you how great they were. It shows you what these guys stand on now. All these shoulders that these guys stand on. It's so great to see.
These brave young men. That was my favorite Fernando line. These brave young men here to play a child's game. Yeah, I was better than even Frozen Tundra or any other stuff that people often quote.
I don't know. The Frozen Tundra was pretty cool.
Are you hearing Facenda in your head already, Tony? How excited are you? I mean, I've been immersed in baseball, believe it or not. A lot of people would laugh that off. I still enjoy the game, and I enjoy the pennant races. And we were talking about this, I guess, last time we were here. And I'm assuming, especially since Old School is the title that we put on the segment, I was always appalled whenever they started adding in extra playoff teams and things like that, or changing rules. And I have changed. I have reversed on that. I don't know that they need any more, but look at the number of cities that are involved now, even in this third wild card race in the National League.
Well,
and we're still in it here with Miami, even though they got swept by the Phillies during the week.
As long as they don't take. They took away afternoon games, and I'll never forget to see the afternoon World Series or the afternoon playoff games.
Yeah.
And as long as they didn't touch that, I don't mind, like you, I don't mind the rest of the teams being in there. They all have a shot.
I hated it though for a long time. Every time any league did it, I always thought, "Wow!" I mean, come on, make the regular season have some meaning. But it actually has more meaning now, in the sense that here we are, sort of late August, hard to believe, and even with the Marlins having a 12-game losing streak, and now they're back at an even 500 after getting swept by the Phillies. It's still possible that they can make the postseason, and if that wasn't the case with the extra wild card team, they would be completely out of it, and so you're probably throwing a towel on your interest.
It's who gets hot at the right time. You could have a wild card team that goes all the way.
Oh, no doubt. But the point being that when they added one wild card team in, you remember Costas was freaking out, saying, "Oh my God, it's a travesty that this team is even in the postseason." I'm not a fan of having more than half your teams or even half your teams making the postseason. I mean, you have that one in hockey and basketball, where not even 16 anymore; it's like 20, Lubie, right? In basketball with the play-in teams. Yep. Hockey, I guess, is still with 16 teams out of 30 making it into the postseason. That seems to diminish the meaning of playing 82 games. But when they started adding in extra wildcard teams, I remember talking to the great Dick Stockton about this. And I had my old school hard line position. No, this is terrible.
Oh, no, not you. Not you, Defo. Hard line?
Well, I mean, look, I've been a fan my whole life, and I thought you win your division at least. They'd already
old,
the divisions. What's that?
You sound old.
We used to be traditionalists. We've changed.
The point I'm making though is that I've changed on that.
Yeah.
So, I like it now. Whereas I never used to. I used to be appalled.
Why do you like it now?
Because more people are involved, and it's not to the point where you have more than half the teams in the league making it. You still have to do something to make it.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of sort of a game within a game, a lot of races that otherwise would be decided, and you still have a chance to have your team have a shot. And it's interesting to see. And now I'm tracking results of San Diego and Arizona. I could have cared less about those teams before, but those we're watching the Marlins on a somewhat regular basis now, I'm interested in what those other teams are doing.
I,
I
I, I
imagine it's
think
the same way in those cities as well.
I think you're right. And, I applaud baseball for trying to evolve where they didn't before. And now they're evolving, and I'm with you.
I have a radical idea, though, based on the fact that one thing I'm stuck on and I'm very old school about is the meaning of batting average, which has taken. You're looking, and I was communicating with a friend of mine, the esteemed Polyman. He's a big baseball fan, still diehard guy, old school guy, and he was saying, "Wow, can you believe this? We've been talking about it all year. It seems like almost since May." The low number of 300 plus hitters in Major League Baseball. There are 8 currently with the qualified number of at bats in both leagues combined. 8 guys hitting 300 or better.
Think about what what Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle did.
Well, I mean, back in the day, we used to hate
Willie
Clete
Mays.
Boyer. Clete Boyer, brilliant fielder. He would routinely hit 250 for the season with 20 homers. Now that guy would be a $40 million a year player.
Easy.
Yeah. So and we used to despise him because he's like 250. What are you talking about? Now, I understand the dynamic of the game has changed. You had guys, you would see the starter all 4 of your at bats before. Maybe you caught him while he was tiring, or you've already seen what kind of stuff he had that day. Now that guy's out there 5, 6 innings, and then they're bringing in a series of guys, one after another, that are all throwing a ball 100 miles an hour with wicked breaking stuff. So that'll break down batting averages. But when you're looking at these lineups now, I mean, the Marlins are typical of even some of the better teams where you have one guy that might be hitting 275, a couple of 260 hitters, and then everybody else is between 220 and 240. And I'm thinking, no wonder people have lost interest in the game. Nobody puts the ball in play. But would it be, I don't know, this will never happen. I'm thinking Major League Baseball itself should have a little treasure chest, and to incentivize people to go ahead and actually make contact, why not offer some kind of enormous bonus, like give any player that has a qualified number of at bats that hits 300 or better, give them an extra $5 million for the year. No, really, I'm serious about that. It sounds stupid, but
I'll join. I'll do it.
I agree. I get it. There's more stats now that I guess supposedly take average into account, but are more super stats. I don't care. The fact that no one hits over 300 is weird. Like 3 guys in the whole league.
That's all right.
That's
Yeah.
I think you have 3 in the American League, 5 in the National League.
Exactly.
300 or better.
Of all the players playing. That's crazy.
These are professional hitters.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. Like that's crazy. Like you should.
And it's still the hardest sport to make.
Oh yeah. Well, there's 3 different levels in college. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, but you would think that there would be some, if they offered some incentive. I don't know. I mean, would that totally be in contrast to what the teams are trying to get their players to do? I can't imagine any manager's happy seeing some guy hitting 217 with 16 homers coming to the plate in key situations in a pennant race.
He's making $50 million a year.
Yeah, and he's probably
He's making more than the manager.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is interesting because as I was on the throne this morning, I was reading a little John Heyman here, and he has a piece in his column about the tight race for the least valuable player. All right. I was appalled. I was looking. There's a guy, I guess you call it, it's Luis Robert, or is it Robert Lubie? He's on the Mets. They paid him $20 million this year. He's hitting like $190.
Oh, Jesus.
$20 million. And then you had, I think, Polanco. Not Polanco, the guy that came over from Seattle to the Yankees, and he's getting like $12 million. He's hitting 217, some ridiculously low number. But He outlined guys that are in a race for LVP, Tony, if you can appreciate this.
Oh,
Remember
geez.
Cal Raleigh last year, how exciting this guy was?
Yes, he was going right toe to toe with Judge. Yes.
Mariners, you thought he was going to be the MVP. I would have given a nod to Judge, which he was accorded. A catcher now. He's gone from 60 homers to 13,
Yes.
and he's hitting 156. 156.
156. I could hit 156.
Like, yeah, that's crazy. He's falling off a total cliff from one year to the next.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. He hasn't homered in his home ballpark in a year.
Oh, Jesus.
And he has 7 homers, 25 below his average over the previous 5 seasons. These guys are all bombing out. Kyle Tucker, remember, he was the most desired free agent, I think, in the offseason as a hitter. He's with the Dodgers. The Mets offered him $60 million, and there's something like that. Oh, he got $60 million a year, $240 for 4 years. And his overall numbers are below average. And he's worse lately. He's currently in an 0 for 25 streak.
Jesus.
This guy making $60 million this year and the next 3, Tony.
That's crazy.
So why not? How could they not come up with the money to incentivize people to go out there and actually make contact with the ball? I mean, come on.
I don't know.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
All right, let me ask you a question here, because I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but it shows you how far. How long has the Dolphins' new training facility been up, Lubie? Is it 3 years?
I haven't been
years.
there either.
None of us have.
You haven't been there either? You're Tony Segreto, for God's sake. You should have your own chair there on the 50-yard line so you can point out things to the coach. What? You haven't been out there? No?
You haven't been out there, and Louis hasn't been out there.
Oh, no.
We weren't big fans of going to training camp anyway.
No, we weren't.
I used to do a lot of it. I'm sure I know you did. I mean, remember it was almost mandatory. You had to be out there every day to gather some clips.
Oh my gosh. It was. I remember this as vividly as yesterday. That when I went to news, the best thing about going to news was that I wouldn't have to go to training camp.
They didn't send you out there for some special with your co-anchor. You had to, because that was always great when they would have the news people out there doing sporting events.
Oh my God!
At least you were equipped to do it, having the sports background, of course, and being a big sports guy. But a lot of these guys were just absolutely out of their mind. All right, so can we read any? I didn't watch much of the Dolphins' first preseason game. I know they threw the ball down the field on the first drive, 93 yards. Everybody's excited. The professor pointed out something last week, which is very interesting about preseason, and we've seen this a zillion times where people start screaming that the backup should be the starter. Because I see the guy in there doing well, and the starter's kind of limited in what he does, and you weren't necessarily all that happy with him to begin with coming into the season, as was the case. Lubie, well, you were a big Tua backer, right, Lubie? Did you turn on him?
I was just honest. I accepted that he, talent-wise, I don't know. I don't agree all the way with some of the laments of people, but he couldn't stay on the field. And at the end, he became a turnover problem. So if you're not going to have a strong arm, you can't turn it over too. Like, I didn't mind it because he was accurate. So I'm like, look, he would get rid of the ball early. He would get rid of the ball quickly. And he was really good anticipation, really good accuracy. Fine. But then he started trying to chuck and trying to make big plays, which wasn't his thing. So he couldn't stay on the field and he was turning it over. Like, even I had to admit, yeah, he just wasn't working, especially for the amount of money they gave him. And now he supposedly has issues over there. He's already like apologizing after like one preseason game. So it just didn't work out. I like the guy. I defended him strongly for a long time. And even I had to eventually just admit I was wrong.
You
weren't part of that movement, Tony, to have Skylar Thompson start over too.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
You fall into that trap of racing the backup because he looked good in the fourth quarter.
You know what? Can you name the backup?
Now?
I don't know the backup. I mean, I didn't see any of this past. I don't even know the starter, Malik Willis, but yeah, backup quarterbacks. What do we have? Bobo Brazil or some guy like that?
Is it yours? Because supposedly he sucks.
Oh,
so
Quinn Ewers is still around. Yeah.
Is it yours? I don't know. He supposedly has been a disaster.
Oh yeah.
But anyone. Who else is it? I don't know. I have no clue. I think
No
it's
clue.
yours.
No clue.
What do you make of all of these brawls that are taking place, Tony? That was not uncommon. They didn't have as many tandem practices. That kind of came in vogue. What? Has that been
19.
about 20 years ago that
Yeah.
all of a sudden everybody was lining up? I remember it was a big deal because the Dolphins would routinely get into some kind of tandem practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up the road.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was always like, whoa, man, well, now they're going to be practicing against another team. This ought to really be something. But seems like all they do is fight now.
Yes. Yes.
The league has had to intervene. What,
It's something,
Dallas
something
was
to
in?
spice up the league. It's something to spice up the league.
You think? Or, I mean, is
No.
it just that, look, they don't want you beating up on your own team, so all of a sudden these guys
One guy figures, I better do this because I can make the team because it shows they got spirit.
But they suspend these guys from practice. I mean, but the Giants and the Dolphins had a deal worked out between Hafley and Harbaugh that anyone that got into a fight was going to be taken off the field. Your man Jameis was involved in one of these things, Lubie. He got
really?
stretched from practice because he got in a fight. So
Oh, Jesus. As a
that was
quarterback.
pretty crazy. Yeah. It was always interesting, though. I mean, people would make a big deal out of it, and yet we're still a month away from the season getting underway, and you don't have the same level of officiating to sort of navigate their way through these things in the regular season.
ESPN is making a big deal out of Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, I didn't. I turned away. I guess he threw a pick. It looked like he was doing all right. I'm not sure he's gonna. I mean, what's your thought? I don't know if he's going to be a great pro. I don't know that. We never know that for sure, obviously. But we thought Ryan Leaf was going to be great. But I don't know what I saw of him as a collegian made me believe that, wow, that this guy. I understand why they took him first overall. He probably was the best coming out in terms of results. Very exciting player. But I don't know that back shoulder throw. Well, Lubie, what do you think about this? Where a guy's known for the back shoulder throw. Isn't that just a bad pass sometimes that the guy makes a great catch on?
It's a tough throw to make. It's an interesting throw, and Ken will join us. It's hard to make that your whole
that can't be your bag.
It's problem.
I gotta say this
whole thing, and it's hard to defend. But eventually, like as we see in the NFL, they figure all of it out. So
back shoulder passes are what they're not
no, it's not an every pass. Look, it's fine to have, and it's not an easy throw to make. So it shows
it's not an easy throw to make, but many times
your whole repertoire. Like it just can't. So I don't know what to do. We've talked about Mendoza. Look, he played himself into a first round pick in my estimation, and the quarterback class was an abomination. So he played himself into a number one overall pick.
Yep.
What will he be? Who knows? Again, like most number one picks, he has no offensive line, and their defense is suspect.
Many times.
Like, who knows? It's an organization that's been a disaster. So will they surround him with talent? Like, it's not easy, especially when he's not this all-time great. Look at his numbers last year were average. Like he wouldn't have been a Heisman in any other year. There was just no one else. Like his numbers were very porous. They were like, it was like 20 something and like 8 intercept. It was like it was average numbers. It was an impressive story, and he played big on the biggest stage, and he made big plays. But he's not this, he's not this automatic. He's not even what Arch is going to be. It's not even what Cam Ward was. Like Cam Ward's stats were freaking out of this world, and he's a physical specimen. Like Mendoza's not. Mendoza
he's not going to be what CJ Carr is.
No, Carr's a much better prospect than Mendoza. Mendoza's an interesting story. He's very accurate. He's very poised, but I don't know if he'll be good, let alone great.
I gotta say this about a back shoulder pass: they're not easy to make, and they're most of the time they're mistakes.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, I understand now. Everybody's the new terminology is kind of scary. You can't just say the guy jumped up and made a catch. You have to say he high pointed the ball. But, and I get it where there's not a ton of separation and you're counting on your guy to make a better athletic play than the defensive back if you're throwing a ball. But I don't know if the back shoulder throw, the professor's big on this thing.
He just knows more than
that's the main thing of your game, Professor. Is that really making a statement that this guy's a great, accurate passer, or are we looking at Anthony Richardson?
Aaron Rodgers is going into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot based on the back shoulder throw. So for some guys, look, Mendoza, and if you watch in the draft process, he played in a very distinctly college offense. Most of his throws at Indiana, most of his successes in Indiana is throwing outside the hash marks. He doesn't throw over the middle a lot. He doesn't come out. He basically never played under center at Cal or Indiana. He took, I can't remember. I think they actually threw out the numbers last night. I think it's like 87% of his career snaps in college were in
87%.
shotgun.
87%. You're right, Ken.
My God.
He's gonna have to learn to play out from under center. He's gonna have to use the middle of the field better, especially on the Raiders, where your best pass catcher right now is your I mean, look, I'm watching that game last night, and Philip Dorsett is on like the second team of the Raiders depth chart. I had no idea Philip Dorsett was still trying to play football. There's not a lot of talent at the wide. The offensive line, Lubie's wrong on. The offensive line is going to be significantly improved with the addition of Linderbaum, with the addition of the guard from the 49ers, with Colton coming back after being injured all year. I actually think Genty could have kind of a breakout year for the Raiders.
Genty's going to have a good year.
Yeah. But the wide receiver core is not there at all. That's the bad news. The good news is, and we've seen these kind of guys before, Mendoza is the kind of film room rat, the kind of football nerd who seems to have absolutely no life outside of the sport of football. Like the Manning brothers, for example, were very much of the same person. I have no doubt he's going to be at least a good quarterback. Is he going to be better than that? I don't know. I actually think they're pairing him with the right guy because I think there's a lot of crossover and skill set with Kirk Cousins, and he can probably learn a lot from Kirk Cousins. And will he get to the level of a Kirk Cousins? Almost inevitably. Will he be better? And then you get into there's going to need to be improvements.
I think you're right, Ken, because Kirk Cousins is the perfect guy to bring him along. For Mendoza to follow him, for Mendoza to pick his brain, he's perfect. I can't think of anybody more perfect.
Yeah, I mean, again, there were some areas of improvement needing to come out of college, but again, he's the kind of kid that it seems almost inevitable will put in the hours where he's going to be good. Is he going to be great? Who knows? I would tend to kind of doubt it.
He'll be an everyday quarterback. He'll be a manager.
And he'll be a solid starter that you can win football games with. Will he be a superstar? Will he be a Super Bowl quarterback? Again, I would tend to doubt it, but it's achievable. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Tony, what's happening up there in Vermont? We actually have to run here because we got the professor and the big board coming up. But how is it going up there?
It's Lubie. I tell Lubie particularly, it was 49 degrees this morning.
I'm so jealous.
You're just freaking mean. I walked Wolf this morning at 7:15 and I was sweating. That's how strong the humidity was. 7:15.
I had Wolf all this week while Lubie was traveling to Puerto Rico, and we would both go outside for 5 minutes and look at each other like, yeah,
that's not working.
This isn't working for either of us.
It's starting to feel like fall. Starting to feel like fall.
Oh, what's fall?
All right, Tony. Well, you take care up there. Thanks so much for being with us as always. Tony Segreto from what looks like some kind of log cabin up there in Vermont that he lives in. Good to have you on the program. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. As we said, we've been searching for Ed Garcia for weeks, and we haven't been able to find him. Do you know where he is? Oh, no. Lubie knows where he is.
He's in Arkansas. He was at the chicken farm in Arkansas.
Just what you would think would be an ideal thing, but
I think he'd be up there in Ann Arbor staring at those secret practices Winningham's running.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, you take care, my friend. And, we'll see Tony next week on a Wednesday. Professor's with us, and we're going to come back and bring you the professor and a big board for this week. Maybe some other thoughts in a moment. I don't know if you have any gambling angles that you want to pursue on the program today?
I did give out the Cowboys last week as a straight-up winner. I'm going to have to look at the preseason. I mean, honestly, the problem with picking the preseason games, and we saw it last night, is you are now in the the severe gamble of who's going to play their starters and for how long. You saw it in that late game last night where apparently the Chargers were happy with Herbert playing a 3 and out and then never coming back in the game. And then the 49ers played Purdy the entire first half and Mac Jones after that. So, like, you're trying to get into coaches' brains and who's going to play their starters and their second teamers for how long.
Little inside information wouldn't hurt anything there.
You think?
You happen to know the equipment, man. He's become the most important key guy in the gambling chain of events. Gambling, railing away today. This I wanted to mention, and I'll get into it with the professor or what he thinks about this in a moment. But railing away was my man Phil Mushnick about the fact that they now have the sickness of gambling has degenerated to the point where they are now offering prop bets on Little League Baseball. Prop bets. Will little Johnny Jones go for more than a base and a half?
I mean, we've been doing that in South Florida with Pee Wee football for decades. So
yeah, you're not on
you're just nationalizing it.
Major sites. All right, coming back with more in a moment. Now that.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
We'll see what the professor thinks about this. So you say he brought it up to you?
Yeah, we talked about this like a week. It wasn't even yesterday. It was last week we talked about this.
Yeah. I was unaware of this, Professor, but and thanks for joining us, Professor. This very curious Temple game. I guess.
It is interesting that they tracked it, that well.
Yeah.
So if something did go on with Temple, I'm sure they'll be, and they, particularly if the players organized it themselves, I'm sure they left an electronic footprint somewhere and will get caught.
Something doesn't look right, you would have to say. And I guess, who would be the investigating body of this
NCAA
type of activity? The FBI, the
It would
NCAA?
be the
I mean,
FBI.
okay. So they don't mess around. They're investigating supposedly 5 games.
I mean, they're not
And
Hunter
4 of them
Biden,
involved
so they're
Temple.
not going to mess around with them.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Or
I was
whoever
unaware
left
of that
coke
until
in the
today.
White House. The FBI didn't exact. Honestly, I mean, let's be honest here. I'm not a Republican, but they got a point on some of these recent FBI investigations. I'm not trying to criticize the FBI. The FBI does a pretty excellent job, but should it be that hard to figure out who left a big old bag of coke in the White House? There's that much cocaine in the White House in 2024.
If my dog takes a shit on the grounds here, believe me, they have a camera that will spot the fact that you did not pick it up.
I don't know about your
It will come
neighborhood.
up at the next homeowners association meeting, and there you are on film, standing there watching
I
this
don't know
dog
about
take a
your
dump.
neighborhood, but my neighborhood, they don't even need the camera. I've got neighbors who watch that. That is their existence, is watching dogs
hate
take
that.
a shit in their yard. So I'm just warning you, if RoboCop ever becomes real, the first RoboCop will be dedicated to
Hush!
the Lighthouse Point.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
you
and
literally
Lighthouse
go out
Point,
and
forget
some
about it,
robot
man.
will pop up with,
Your
Catlin
dog
guns
can't
on
even
it.
fart in Lighthouse Point without somebody getting upset.
Cease and desist, K9.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
Anybody check with Don Jr. on that bag of Coke?
It's amazing you played that clip because there is now a national story because a man in Lake County last week got arrested over dog poop because his neighbor's dog had been going in his yard apparently every day, and the guy had had enough of it, so he went out, he picked up the poop, and he threw it at his neighbor.
Nice.
And he got arrested for assault. For throwing.
You're waiting for the day
dog
that
poop at
happens.
his neighbor.
There was a time.
I honestly, I don't think the guy should be arrested. Like if you're looking, I'm not someone who freaks out about dog poop in my yard. I don't really care. I've got all the dogs in the world. But like if your revenge is you pick up the poop and you throw it, if you're willing to go to the ground with the hand, pick it up and throw it with the neighbor, I think that's fair. If I'm the judge, I'm just saying, hey, you know what? You've been asking for this.
Yeah. I mean, that's just.
I thought about it. I mean, there was a time when I was walking unfortunately now past Skippy. That
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Well, I mean, he went the distance.
He had a good run. Yeah.
By dog standards, or any standard for that matter, in terms of dog years equating out to human. But and there was a time there when I would like pretend I didn't see him take a dump. As I was crossing a neighbor's yard, and I had this subliminal paranoid fear that one day the guy was going to see this happen and just come running after me and fire the shit right in my face. And you know what? I would have to say,
you were kind of asking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair is fair.
Right, on that note, anything strike your fancy from gambling and/or sporting front here this week?
I'm looking at these preseason games again. The issue we have is that we don't know exactly who's going to play. One we do know, Jets and Steelers. The Jets are going to give more extended time to the starters, whereas the Steelers are absolutely not playing Aaron Rodgers in this game. But the Steelers' backup QBs look pretty solid. So I'm not necessarily sure I'm going to jump on the Jets there. You'd have to kind of lean a little bit to the New York Giants based on what we're reading about these practices, where apparently the Giants defense just kicked the Dolphins' ass pretty much all week long in these combined practices. So maybe the Giants -3 and a hook. And I will tell you, I was pretty impressed. I watched the game. I did not have action on it. The Bears' depth at quarterback is pretty impressive, and it makes logical sense because one of their guys, their third-team guy, is Case Keenum, who, if you watched last week, came in and just carved up the Browns' third-team defense like a knife through hot butter. And the reason is because, it's Case Keenum. He knows where he's going with the ball 3 seconds before the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
Because he's seen every defense in the league you could possibly see. I think he went 9 of 10 during the second half of that action. I would expect a similar performance, particularly against the Bengals, who are deep in the we do not give an S about preseason football. We're just trying, we got an injury-plagued veteran team. We're just trying to get through this healthy. So our UPS drivers will be playing early and often in that game. So I guess that's the one I would look at, is the Bears laying 1 and a hook. And then again, we discussed it last week, the Cowboys' depth at quarterback. The Cowboys got that rotation at the back end of quarterback of Joe Milton, who is a problem in the preseason because he's the size of a battleship and he can actually run. And then he just chucks it downfield and hopes. And in the preseason, that's the kind of thing that tends to work out. So I would lean Bears -1.5 and Cowboys +0.5 point.
All right. Excellent stuff. We've had some time to think about it. And Professor, this is always a highlight of the week. And even though this is our one show this week, I think clearly this will be the runaway winner as segment of the week. Well,
there's not much competition.
Kind of like a walkover.
Well, we had Lubie out of town all week, so what are you going to do? How was Puerto Rico?
Good.
By the way, Lubie?
Weather was good. People were cool. Of course, it stormed right before we got on the plane to come back, but really good time. Luca ate his face off, so and he was a good boy.
We discussed that on the food show, whether or not Luca would be housing Mofongo
I was like,
down in
he doesn't give a
Puerto
crap.
Rico.
You give him food, he's a happy camper. So
Wow.
well, really well. And we enjoy.
Okay, good.
And
Glad to hear it.
Wolf was not a pain in the ass. Thank God.
Ken's got.
I mean, again, there's something when Wolf comes to my house, Wolf feels like he is now just a people food dog when it comes to my house. Because Louis always says, like, he does not get people food. He does not get treats in my house. So he comes to my house and he just plants himself. in the
Hey,
kitchen.
that spaghetti and meatballs coming
And
along,
he's like,
Professor.
yeah, he's like, what you making?
Whatever it is. You got that pot roast working yet?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. The big board for this week.
Well, it's almost here, folks. We've been waiting through the long, dry part of the year, but we are 1 week away from college football. When we do this show next Friday, we will know that we can wake up the next day and it will be week 0 in college football, where there is a good gambling spot. We already talked about it on the food show on Gulfstream Monday, but we can already start pointing at TCU over North Carolina, which looks to me to be an outstanding spot. We'll definitely be picking on Bill Belichick and the University of North Carolina. So we're only 8 days away from that. We're only one Saturday away from that. The rest of the slate, I'm not going to lie to you, is not great. There's maybe another interesting game in North Carolina and State and Virginia. And then Lubie's Florida State Seminoles will be going for their debut that night at 7 o'clock against New Mexico State. They're laying 30.5, which honestly, I wouldn't lay 30.5 to St. Thomas's 8th grade team with Ashton Daniels being my quarterback. But I'm not saying take the points either. My main issue with that Florida State game, and again, it's one of the joys of college football. You start trying to figure out where the hell is the CW on my television? Where the hell is our ACC games being played this year? Because I have literally, other than ACC football and basketball games, I don't ever watch this. I don't even know what's on the CW. I didn't even know the CW was still a network. Is that the one that shows Law and Order Special Victim Unit like 24 hours a day? Because they don't have any original program. I don't know what the CW broadcasts anymore. But we're 1 week away from the joys of college football. So, Lubie, if you want to pick up the big board, that is the topic of the big board this week, that this will be the last Saturday of 2026 without college football. We can all celebrate that time of honestly, in some ways, this is better than I think this is better than the run up to Christmas. They ought to have like a degenerate advent calendar, like they do for Christmas. Where you're like 20 days out, you poke of the thing, and you're like, oh, Sam Levitt for Heisman, 22.5 to 1. That seems like a gift. All of those things in the run up to college football.
All right, here we go.
Okay, am I still here? Or are we froze? Okay, here we go. Well, that takes us to number 5, which is school which has been mired in controversy for a number of years now, gave us another one right on the eve of college football, and that is Penn State gave us the world's funniest cocaine ring right before college football is going to start. On the left here, we have Agostino Abatello, and on the right, we have Thomas Robinson, who ran apparently a cocaine ring involving not one but 2 different fraternities at Penn State on such a massive scale that it was the FBI who investigated it and made it the arrest. By the way, Abatello here on the left, because the ring included making pledges, cut and bag cocaine for distribution, started calling himself Pablo Pledgescobar as part of this ring.
And
because I'm doing the Defo show, I looked. I cannot find a definitive link, but I found some pictures. Could possibly be related to your favorite Carmine Abatello. If you look at young pictures of Carmine Abatello, there is a fairly decent resemblance between him and Pablo Escobar here. Here's my question: growing up in South Florida, how the hell did this not get robbed like 15 times?
Yeah, like, who's going?
Like,
to
I'm not even a tough guy, and I would go into the Delta Chi house with a baseball bat and steal these guys' cocaine money probably more than once. Like, how did this not just get constantly robbed? I mean, it must be very easy and nice to commit crime on the campus of Penn State University. Because, like, if you two set up in Miami, you would be robbed and dead in your first 12 minutes. Like, there is no way you are dealing cocaine in any major city in America without getting hijacked constantly. And does this explain Penn State football over that? Was Drew Aller just shoveling the booger sugar into his nose before every start? Like, I don't know, but it sort of seems to explain the failures of the James Franklin era. If a couple of fraternities were up there, like the Sinaloa cartel, just growing cocaine. And also, how badly do you want to have to get in this goddamn fraternity that you're cutting and bagging cocaine and not getting a piece of the profits if you're one of the pledges? Like,
they couldn't just have goldfish.
I can't fathom. I mean, look, I know if you want to be in a fraternity, you got to do a bunch of gay stuff to begin with. So I guess this big, beats having someone gently anal probe you as part of your fraternity pledge. But like, if I'm cutting and bagging the cocaine, I want a piece of the profits. Like, I'm not doing this for free. I'm not doing this just so I can be part of the fraternity. Like, what the hell is going on, man?
I can't help but think of that scene in American Gangster where Denzel comes up to show the operation to somebody, and everybody's naked because they were worried they were going to pocket all this coke.
Exactly.
No, that's like part of every cocaine movie. Is there's a bunch of women like in the thong with their boobs hanging out, so they won't steal the cocaine as they're cutting and bagging it.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder what these pledges were going through as they were cutting and bagging the cocaine. But again, you have to wonder what the hell these people were putting up with. They were cutting and bagging cocaine as part of the pledge process and giving all the money to, Geeky Mick harness track kid over here on the left. Like, I'm definitely robbing you. There's no question about it.
I'm glad you looked into that. I was going to say, we have to issue a disclaimer here. As my understanding,
the name is spelled exactly the same.
Yeah, Abbott.
Again, I cannot find any confirmation of a relation. But again, if you go look at the young pictures of Carmine that are on the internet, there is definitely a resemblance that could be familial.
And it's not like Carmine was immune to the idea of doing things that maybe circumvented certain laws and
yes, there's
fundamentals of running a solid society.
If you believe criminality is genetic, there's definitely the possibility.
All right, number 5, good starting point. There should be one hell of a list. Here's number 4.
This takes us to number 4, which is, of course, the big off season, and one of the huge stories, of course, the return of the redemption arc of Indiana football and their head coach. So number 4 is Curt Cignetti has spent the offseason enjoying himself and celebrating his national championship. And by that, we mean by torturing the victims he keeps in his basement. Because at this point, if you've looked at how sour and how unhappy he is this whole offseason, I'm convinced this man's a serial killer. Like, we all know in the Midwest, they've all got torture basements in almost every house anyway. So it's a natural for him to not want to go to, like a big job on the coast. Cause like, well, then I don't have a basement. Where am I going to keep the people in a shed in my backyard? Like, I can't do that. People will hear it. Like, I can't take the UCLA job. Like, people are going to find out what I'm doing.
That's why he's not leaving Indiana, because he can't.
Exactly.
Holy Jim Jordan.
He's like, I got 3 of them down in the well I've dug into my basement. Like, what am I going to do here?
It's Midwest or bust.
Yeah.
I can't ever leave Indiana.
Indiana.
Like, we have no shot of getting him. We didn't have basements.
Yeah.
Look at the crap that's gone on in Ohio State.
Oh my God, that's classic.
Again, look on this man. I mean, if we thought
Yeah.
Saban constantly was petulant, and he certainly was over the years, Signetti has taken it to like a whole different level.
He
Like,
never smiles. They won the title.
you have to wonder, like, what is it this man does for fun?
He
What
makes,
does this man does to relax? At least with Saban, we knew he had the lake house and the boat, and he enjoyed torturing his children by dragging them behind the boat in an inner tube and make them fall off and nearly drowned. And by the way, if you don't know it, go back and watch the video clip of Saban and Marty Smith at the lake house. That is literally what Saban tried to do for fun in the offseason, was attempt to drown children behind his boat.
This
But
guy
you
knows
look at Signetti with his even more sour and an unhappy look 24/7, and
Yeah.
you got to wonder, what the hell is this guy doing for fun?
It's not like I mean, Saban looks like Richard Simmons compared to this guy.
Yes. Saban's at least
Jolly, persona.
he at least enjoyed titles, and he did a lot of it. This guy, Indiana making the playoffs, he said he won a title with Indiana,
Incredible.
and he never smiled. It's like, dude, what do you?
Something sick going on there. I think you're right. All right, that's number 4. Number 3.
Number 3, and this is near and dear to Lubie's heart, because it's FSU's turn to have a 43-year-old punter who looks like he spent 15 years in jail for producing meth back in Australia. This
That's
is
true.
Daniel Hughes, FSU's punter, who you can tell is a tattoo enthusiast and celebrated getting the FSU job by getting a new tattoo on the inside of his lip, because
Oh, wow.
I guess it wasn't quite antisocial enough to have your entire body covered in them. Can we stop with these Aussie punter things? Can we make a rule? Because, like, clearly, supposedly this guy's only 26 years old. I mean, come on.
He's still
Look at him. He's old enough that I am not 100% sure he didn't appear in the original version of the Road Warrior movies. And I think the last of those came out in like 1991. Like, come on. Like, this guy clearly coming off an extended prison stint where he learned how to punt in Australia. And I don't know about all of this with these Aussie punters, man. Like, I feel like we've gone too far. Can American kids not punt?
I don't get it.
Is this an immigration issue for Donald Trump, where, like, we need to put Australia on the list of the shithole countries so they'll come over here? And well, honestly, why aren't we discussing this in terms of this grand immigration? Like, we're trying to get fruit pickers and these people making tortillas in kitchens and Texas border towns, but we let these Aussies come over here and steal every punting scholarship in the United States of America. And clearly a bunch of them are just making fake passports. I don't know how hard it is to fake an Australian birth certificate and passport, but it appears it's not very hard, because you're telling me this guy's 26 years old. Wait, he was getting tattoos from the time he was 4 years old? Like, there's a good 30 years of work just evidenced on the number of tattoos on his body.
What happened to the left arm there? He decided to leave part of the canvas blank. This guy's got tattoos on the bottom of his feet.
That's probably next, I guess.
That must be interesting, too, for one of these sort of disciplined, button-down, Dusty May type of coaches like Mike Norvell. To have a guy like this walk in, and it's kind of like Don Shula's reaction when Jim Manich got out of his Volkswagen bus at the first practice, and he looked over at one of his assistants. It might have been the Turk, Carl Tassif, and said, "That's the captain of the Michigan Wolverines football team." So he had his hair dangling down. What does Norvell think when he looks at a guy like this, Lubie?
I don't know if you can look past the mullet, honestly.
The guy's got to be in his 30s. I mean, the guy's clearly like 38. I don't know. It was a big deal. Everyone loves their Aussie punters now. I don't know. I don't know if they're better. That's what I don't get about this Aussie punter.
What is it? A technique thing? I mean, don't they put
that side grab?
Yeah.
Well, okay, number one, compared to the average punter, they're all gigantic. Like, this kid is 6'4" and like 240 pounds. And I assume it's just because of rugby / Aussie football. They're just punting from the time they're like 2 years old.
You're probably looking at the next Pat McAfee.
Like, honestly, like, when you watch little kids practice in America, nobody wants to be the freaking punter. Nobody wants to be the kicker. But in Australia, they're like, oh, yeah, punter, that's the best position. Like Australians probably watch American football and think that punting is the most exciting part of the game.
Nothing like it. All right, that's number 3. Number 2.
He's back.
Oh,
Our leader of the weirdest names in college football 2026 is, of course, highlighted by every announcer's worst nightmare. That is Eastern Michigan's Noah Kanega. Is how he
now the eyes
says his name's pronounced. Huh?
They made it like a long A, Kanega now. Now it's Kanega. I've
Yes,
never heard of
he
that.
says it's
I've never
Kanega.
heard that before, but that's fine. That's smart. That's very smart.
And the problem, if you're an announcer, if you're at the great Dave Lamont may very well run into this because he does do those MAC games. Like if you're calling Maction on a random Tuesday night in ESPN, if Eastern Michigan is playing, you are playing with your broadcasting life if you don't pay attention to this name. Like this is a guy. And look, we have other highlights, other funnier names throughout the college football. If you're calling a Montana Grizzlies game, you have to deal with Tommy Running Rabbit at the running back position. He is, of course, of Native American ancestry. Kentucky wide receiver who may, under Will Stein, get a lot more action. You've got DeRealist Clark. You've got Booby Feaster out at USC. If you're calling Oklahoma games, you have Rocky Beers. If you're calling Arizona State games, their defense, you've not only got, is it Prayer Young Black Goat, but you've also got Blazin' Lono Wong on the defensive line. Like there are plenty of goofy names in college football, but none of them strike fear into the heart of college football announcers like one Noah Kanega.
Yeah,
I almost did it right there.
That was the first thing I'm looking at.
Around.
I mean, that's what will come out of my mouth if I was just.
And the bad news for announcers is that he's actually going to play.
He's decent.
He is looking like he's going to get some minutes for Eastern Michigan, whereas last year it wasn't that big a concern. He only played on return teams last year, and he, there wasn't a lot of chance of him returning the ball. He only had to, block. So you weren't going for that name. But this year when he's making tackles, watch yourselves, MAC football announcers, because this is going to be a significant issue for
your contract's in the shredder. I mean, just hovering over it as the game kicks off. With that one, now it would have been my first instinct. You know me. I mean, always studiously going over rosters and things like that before I used to call games. Basically, show up and hope the game starts on time, and then I'm ready to go. That would have been my first thing. When I looked at that slide, I was like,
don't say it. Don't say
No.
it. Don't say it.
No, they used to call him Kanega. That's why. That's what's the best part of it. Now they've changed it, which is smart, actually.
That would be one where you wanted to go from Tony Dorsett to Dorset.
Yes.
Well, if you remember when he was a junior in high school, when his first name, everybody assumed the K was silent because when you look at that name, you're like, I don't think you pronounce the K. Like I think
Bobby Knopp.
We're just calling him number
10. You're never saying that name.
All right, that's number 2. Great list so far. What tops it, Professor?
Number 1's not a funny one, or at least not to me. It's not a funny one, but I think we need to talk about it a little bit in the context of football. 16 players who have been on NFL rosters are now entering the transfer portal, which a judge ordered up a special transfer portal just so these guys can return to college. And at least one of them, that is former Ole Miss tight end Daquan Wright, looked like he might make the roster in Cleveland. Let's be honest, most of these guys were basically strictly depth material, play the fourth quarter of preseason games, you have no chance to make a roster material. But again, at least one of them, Daquan Wright, seemed like he was on track to make the roster in Cleveland, are now returning to college football. And let me just tell you, from a not just a fan, but a maniacal fan perspective, this is the freaking thing that's going to kill
bad.
football.
This is really bad. It's romantic.
It wasn't a big enough mess.
They've been competing against.
Look, I don't like what's going on in college football. You can ask Lubie. He knew me back then. 20 years ago, I was ranting about the big playoff and everything that was going to come from the big playoff. The fact that we weren't going to have any good out-of-conference games, the playoff would kill that off. And we're seeing that because, honestly, first 3 weeks of the college football season, from a interesting game standpoint, is a complete freaking disaster. The SEC adding another conference game. So, I mean, honestly, if the Florida state government didn't keep passing bills forcing UF to play FSU, I legitimately think we could even be talking rivalries like that in Georgia Tech going out the window at some point. But this is the one. Like, it's only been 2 years of this, and I am so sick of seeing freaking 25-year-olds playing their 6th and 7th year of college football. And now they go to NFL training camps to get ready, and they're transferring back to college from there. What the hell is going on? Look, I think Trinidad Chambliss, outside of when he was playing the Canes in the playoff last year, is one of the most fun and exciting college football players.
Now we lost Ken.
We froze the professor out.
We lost Ken.
If he didn't get frozen out on the last slide, which was bordering on danger. All right. Well, we were running kind of long here anyway, so we'll say thanks to the professor. We lost a little bit of the climactic moment of the big board, which is always a lot of fun, but very innovative as always with the professor. Lubie, I'm glad you're back. We'll be back with you again on Tuesday.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate the people participating on the chat line as well. For the professor, Tony Segreto, good people at Texas Roadhouse Restaurants, and Mike Lubie Lubitz. I'm Jeff DeForest, and we'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:13.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.